Cool. Yeah. So thanks, Antoinette, for hopping on. And if you wouldn't mind sharing, how did you find EarnBetter originally, and how have you used EarnBetter in your job search?
I found out about EarnBetter from TikTok. They're not following the young lady that I found, but she came across as an ad. I found it interesting. I followed the link, and that's how I first started using EarnBetter. It was really easy to sign up and use it. And when I first came across it, I kind of perused and looked, and I uploaded my resume, and it geared the jobs based on that I was shown. And just recently, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, I went on and my resume was already saved on the site. I found a job that I wanted to apply to. I utilized the AI feature to tailor my resume to the job that I applied to. I heard from the job the very next day. Very
Incredible.
next day. They requested to interview with me. I was able to craft a interview sheet to go over some questions that I might be asked, and that was able to give me some study time to prep, to discuss what to discuss with the interview, what to ask. It gave me at the end, these are some great questions that you can ask at the end of your interview. I did the interview. I went back and I also utilized the thank you letter for the employer, which I sent within the 24 hours. And I was offered the job maybe about a week later.
Incredible. So you really used the full complement of EarnBetter features
Yes.
for that chance.
Yes.
How long was your job search prior to kind of finding that job on EarnBetter?
It wasn't long. I'm currently employed, but I'm looking to change. I was looking to, change employers and still within the field that I had already been working in. And like I said, it was a span of 3 days. It was incredible because the job market is tight now. There's not a lot, especially remote. But I don't know whether that job was just meant for me or I lucked out, or it just did a really great job of showing me employers that match my skill set.
Incredible. When you were thinking about kind of the next job that you wanted to do, it sounds like the type of job you were set on. What other factors were important to you as you searched for jobs?
I wanted it to be remote. I had a certain salary range in mind. I believe I was able to tailor it that way. I remember when I first started using it, I was seeing a lot of things that weren't always tailored to what I was looking for.
Yeah,
This most recent time that I used it, it was much better at tailoring it. And what I did like, it wasn't jobs that I was seeing everywhere else. It was a unique set of jobs, like companies that I hadn't heard of, but when I did the research on them, they had good backgrounds. And what I liked about it, it made me feel like there's not a thousand other people looking at this job because I didn't see it on other job boards.
interesting.
So
That's
I really
awesome.
like that.
Love to hear it. And then you mentioned you created an AI interview cheat sheet on our platform.
Mhm.
So, what were the different ways? What was the value that you got from that? And what were the different ways that you utilized that?
Well, it helped me because sometimes I do have interview anxiety, and a lot of the things that was on there is commonly asked questions. Why do you want to work for us? What are your strengths? The general questions you get asked in an interview, and sometimes I'll freeze up, and the answers were tailored in such a way I can make them my own, where I'm not just spouting out a computerized answer. It's still I tailor it to where it sounds like me.
Yeah,
So it was helpful in giving me guidance on how I can answer those questions should they come up. And I would say at least about three or four of those questions did come up during the course of the interview.
yeah, interesting. That's awesome. How did you stay motivated over the course of your job search? What did you do on a daily, weekly basis to? And I know you were still working at the time, so maybe a little less pressure. But yeah, where did the motivation come from, and how did you find it?
I think I was just really feeling like I knew I would be an asset to the company. I felt comfortable that I had a good skill set to bring to the company. And I think not, I have to admit, probably already having a job, I wasn't really like super pressed, because I still have a job. But it was a great motivation knowing that it was showing me jobs that I knew I could do and that I had the skill set for.
Incredible. When do you start this new role, or have you already started?
I started in about, I believe I have 2 weeks, about
You
two and a
started.
half weeks. Mhm.
Okay. Are you excited?
I am. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I'm happy that I still get to stay remote because I've gotten quite used to it.
Yeah. Have you always been remote, or did you just start?
No, I worked prior to I've done customer service for a while, but I've done call center, and my most recent face to face I worked in a library as a library clerk.
Incredible. Did
Mhm.
you ever imagine that you'd be using AI in your job search?
No, I did not. I was a little skeptical, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm cheating. But again, I mean, common sense is that you tailor it so that it's your words. It's just giving you, I guess, like a guide on how you can say or what you can say. But I would not use it verbatim. I would also make sure that I tailor it so that it's me and not a computer.
Yeah, I love that. And you obviously had a very successful job search. What advice, but you've also called out that job searches are pretty challenging right now and grueling, and it's a really hard job market, especially for remote.
Hmm.
It can be intimidating going on LinkedIn and seeing 6,000 other people have applied for this role.
Yes. And then
Uh,
there's a lot of fake roles too. And that's really discouraging, especially when you really are possibly unemployed and needing a job. And I've experienced that a couple of years back, and I would apply to a job and it was some type of scam. And so you have to be really cautious to make sure that these are legitimate job posts.
yeah, that makes sense. I guess what advice would you give to kind of job seekers out there that are on tougher job searches that have been searching for a little while? And what advice would you give to them?
Try not to get discouraged. I say what I learned, don't apply to 100 jobs at a time. It's very discouraging. I'd say have a targeted job search. Um, because it's just putting applications out everywhere. It unfortunately screams desperation. And although you want to find a job, you don't want to just take anything. And take a break if you can so that you can not lose motivation, because I know I see online that people saying that they've been looking for work, they've been out of work for a year and a half, and that's devastating.
Yeah, no, for sure. We talked to a lot of people that maybe have submitted thousands of job applications, but I think it's really great advice. Yeah, I think the other thing I tell people is, just try to build a little momentum. So if looking for one's perfect role, open up the aperture a little bit, and be open to some other interviews for other roles, just to
Right.
get some motivation. Because I really feel like that momentum is real and can be felt in a job
Mhm.
search.
And I
Uh,
also would say, another thing I would say is that don't think that you have to click every single qualification. A lot of people sometimes will X themselves out of applying for a position. Oh, well, I don't have all the requirements. Some of the requirements are wants, and some of them are great if you have it. And I think a lot of people forget that.
yeah, I love that. 75%, 50 to 75% of them, if you have them, you're golden. That's
Right.
no, that's really great advice. You could do our job here and help people get jobs. I think you got the right attitude and mindset. Um, cool. I guess not for anything that we'll share, but I just would love to get feedback on Earn Better of what more could we have done? Like, how could the experience have been better? It sounds like you jumped on, then you jumped off for a while, and then you came back and it worked for you.
Hmm.
What do you think we could have done to make the experience even more powerful for you as you think about job searches?
Uh, I think whatever the issue was where I was getting shown, like, I think there was maybe there were limited remote jobs because I specified remote jobs, but there were jobs that were coming up that were in person in states that I didn't live in.
Yeah,
That's happened, but that didn't happen this time. Everything I was shown, if I remember correctly, was remote. Um, oh, and I think there's also the feature that you can upload a job that's not on there and you can
yeah,
still tailor the resume. That's great. That is a great feature. I do love that. I really can't think of any pain points that I had this most recent
Yeah,
time that I used it. You guys are doing a great job. Oh, I do want to say that I did happen to go to the girls page. A lot of people seem to think that they're following a link to a site that takes them somewhere that charges, or they just refuse to believe that this site is free.
it's
And
it's the it's the hardest thing because there's so many platforms out there that are like, oh yeah, we'll give you a resume, and then you get to the end, you try to download it, and it's $2.99 a week, or it's like it's only 90 cents a day. You're like, what? And
right.
a lot of people think it's like, because there's a lot of them, and so people get confused and think it's us, and so they just reply in the comments like, oh, they charged me. It's like, no, we didn't. We never collected payment information from you, I swear.
And
Uh,
I was kind of surprised. I was like, wait a minute, they haven't asked me for any money. I said, every once in a while, I might just jump in the comments and say, hey, I've had a great experience. They didn't charge me. I found a job. Give it a try. It's worth a shot.
I love that. Honestly, you have no idea. So Molly and our team leads our social efforts, and every time some other user jumps in and says, hey, that's not actually true, this is free, she shares it with our team. She's like, it's the most impactful thing, because we can say it all we want, but people don't believe us. But then other people say it carries so much more weight. It's like, okay. Incredible. Well, thank you so much for taking the time this Friday afternoon, and especially after work. So yeah, we'll use some small snippets from our conversation on our socials and things like that, and just to spread the word and inspire some folks. Thank you very much, though, for replying, for using EarnBetter. Good luck with your new job. If you have any other feedback that pops up, you have my contact information, and we're always here to help. You're part of the EarnBetter family. So thank you
You're
so much,
very welcome. Thank you.
and have a great afternoon.
You too.